Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Built for the Stage podcast. This is Joe Roscoe, founder and host of Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform with actors, performers in over 20 Broadway shows and other stages across the globe. We are your one-stop shop for marrying your pursuit in theater, this tough career that we all chose to do, and a pursuit of a journey in fitness. So, actors or athletes, you should be training like one. That's our goal here. Hop on over to the website, builtforthestage.com, and we can be on our way with a 7-day trial where we'll work one-on-one on an interactive fitness app. All right, recently, let's get on to our guest. That's who we're here for. Not here to hear me chat. Just saw Frozen maybe 3-ish weeks ago in the West End in London, and got to get reacquainted with some former Built for the Stage fan members, and got to meet some new friends as well. And one of those new friends we did a photo shoot with. They're currently in the ensemble. They're understudying Bulda and Queen Iduna. They've actually been going on pretty frequently. I'd like to chat with her about that as the Queen. Place of birth from the Philippines. Just reading her bio here, straight out of the program, not the playbill, but the program. If you're listening to Built for the Stage podcast, I've said this a few times, but their playbills, their programs over there, they're not standardized. Like this one's quite large. And this Anne Juliet one, the Book of Mormon one, pretty standard as far as size goes. But yeah, this one's nice. Not too big. You know, you want to carry it after a drink or so. But, our guest. Yeah, let's get to our guest. Enough of me. So please welcome to the podcast, the lovely, the talented, the super nice, Isabella Glanznig Santos. Hey, Isabella.
Hello.
What's up, girl? Good to have you on the podcast. Thanks so much for joining me.
It was so nice seeing you in London, and now here we are on the interwebs.
Here we are on the virtual screen. Let's just jump into being a little silly and having our followers, our listeners get to know you a bit. Let's put you straight up to the BFTS hot seat. You know, no pressure, but let's just make you sweat a bit. Do we have any? Let's see if we have some tunes for this.
Okay. Right. Bye, B. Okay, we're going for him.
Here we go. BFTS hot seat. Grooving with some dance pop over here. First question. Turn this music down. All right. First question. If you're walking into a room and the TV's on and there's a movie playing that you've seen 100 times, but yet this movie's going to make you stop in your tracks and you have to stop and watch it, what is that movie?
Oh, wow. That's why it's called a hot seat. Okay. So it has to be a rom-com. My friends say if there's one word to describe me as a movie, it's a feel-good rom-com. So it has to be probably... Ooh, okay. This is called The Little Black Book. And it's Brittany Murphy. And I love it because it also has all the songs from Carly Simon, who I'm a big fan of.
Okay. All right.
Super random. You weren't expecting that, were you?
The Little Black Book. No, I'll have to. I don't know if I was like gonna go with like The Wedding Planner. I was gonna with Jennifer Lopez. You know this one?
Yeah, no, I love that one. It was either that or Pretty Woman, but I didn't want
Pretty Woman. Yeah, another classic. Any others that I really like? What's the other one with them too? It'll come back. See, luckily you're on the hot seat, not me. Yeah. All right. So next question. You just came from a spin class. You said, what's a go-to song that like it'll come on and just liven your day up to 100%? Like boom, going from 0 to 100. What's that song?
Okay, I have one right now. It's current. You can shame me because it's technically a TikTok song. But when I leave the house and I need to strut, like it's no one's business in the London streets, it's Vegas right now by Doja Cat. Do you know which song that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. That in a spin class, walking, that's the one.
All right, Vegas, Doja Cat. Got it. All right. So if you were to reincarnate and come back to this earth as an animal, which animal would you come back to the earth as?
I know this is basic, but a dog, because everyone pets dogs.
Yeah.
Because if I were to say any other animal, well, I mean, I wouldn't mind like running. Yeah, cheetah maybe. Cheetah or dog, because then I could just like run really fast and see how it feels.
The cheetah. All right. I'm with it. I'm with it. The dogs have a great life, just especially if you're like a pet dog. You just lay around, you play sometimes, you get to go out on walks, people love you, you just chill. Yeah. It's just a life of chill. Okay, next question. If you were to not be on the stage performing, what would you be doing?
Okay, so very interesting question, because I came from quite an academic background, and I ended up doing like the American system like of high school and doing the IB. So everything was geared towards me doing something businessy, and I actually applied for advertising and media communication courses alongside musical theater. So I feel like I would do that if I wasn't performing.
All right. You just submitted your application for the Bill for the Stage representative in London. I can't wait.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have to chat afterwards and chat more about that in the more serious part, quote unquote, of the interview. All right, last hot seat question. If you're walking through London, it can't be like a touristy, like everybody knows about it thing, but do you have any hidden gems, whether it's like a favorite restaurant or a cafe or something in the London area?
So when I was training for 3 years at uni, it would probably be the area that I was in Angel. There's this canal that's just really beautiful, and whenever I just need to like take my mind off things, you can walk from Angel to King's Cross and along the canal. And yeah, I find peace there.
All right, cool. Congratulations. You're off of the hot seat. You did it.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So now we shook it loose a bit. You're in Frozen, like I mentioned before. Tell us about what you joined in August, or when did you join the cast?
Yeah. So we started rehearsals in August 15th, but I found out about Frozen May 3rd. So I had 3.5 months of just waiting to start. And at first I was like, oh, this is good. I'm going to have like a fun summer and then I'm going to start work. But then after the first month, I was so bored. I just wanted to start.
Sure. So how did you try to fill your days when you were bored and anxious, ready to start?
Well, I worked part-time at a gym just front of house making smoothies. So a lot of it was
Let's go. Tell what's your favorite smoothie? What's your best smoothie you make?
So I'm more of like a mango with a bit of vegan vanilla protein and some honey. So there's like mango, bananas. Yeah. Is that pretty basic? Oh, and ginger. Love ginger.
I love me some ginger too. It's just like the second you taste it, you're like, I am rejuvenating my body as I like in the moment. I could feel it working. Are you vegan? You mentioned vegan protein.
No, I prefer the vegan between whey and vegan protein. I've tried both of them. I prefer the taste of the vegan. So it has nothing to do, with.
Also, sometimes singers like the vegan option because whey, some people don't like the texture it puts on their throat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. Like, I eat a lot of dairy. I love cheese, so.
Yeah. All right, so you no longer have time to work in the front of house of this gym.
No.
I like how I just said did you say that as well? I just said the front of house.
Yeah. That's what it was. That was my official title.
Do they call it that? The front of house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because to me, that's just like strictly a theater. Yeah. Like you would just say you're the front desk attendant at the gym.
Yeah. No, I don't know. They said front of house when I applied. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I'm making that up. No, I don't know.
All right. So you did that, and you're waiting, and then finally the show happens, and before we hit record, you have just been going. how have you maintained this? How are you still standing? How are you still awake right now after all this work? Tell us a little bit about what the past 3-4 months have been like.
It's been intense. Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment because this is my first contract. This is my first big job, and I knew coming into this that it was going to be completely different. So I was ready for all of the like things to come at me. So I was just kind of going with it until I realized, like, okay, what do I need to do? I think definitely for me, obviously, everyone says this, but like eating well, like staying hydrated and sleep. But sleep wasn't a problem. I was so exhausted that I just slept anyway.
Yeah. So, okay, so with the eating and the drinking, this is great. So the pyramid of fitness, the base of it is about recovery, nutrition, and sleep. And so many people, whether it's fitness or their theater career, they just kind of skip over it. They think, oh, I'm going to work out or I'm going to work hard at my rehearsals or yada, yada, but they're not giving themselves enough time to properly recover. How, with the sleep not being an issue, how did you eat properly? Did you
eat
cook
actually
yourself? Tell me.
is really awkward actually because no, if you have a double show day, my problem was I know you're gonna be mad, but I don't like eating breakfast.
I know you're gonna be mad. Hilarious.
I don't eat breakfast, and before the show starts, it's too early for me to eat. But then during the show, that's when I would normally eat. And then after the show, it's already 4:00, which is technically our dinner time. So at first, I found myself eating my lunch and dinner, my first meal at the day at 4:30, and that was it because I didn't want to eat afterwards. So it was kind of just finding nutritional snacks as well, because I'm not a snacker. So I just realized, okay, I can't just have one meal a day. So I would have a big snack or like breakfast, we can call it breakfast, before the show, have my big meal in between the two shows. And then after the show, I'll just have like a small snack. So I just like maintain that like I actually have food in my system.
All right, wait, let's break this down because this is a good topic for everyone that is listening. So let me see if I can. All right.
And while you do that, I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna get my charger really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead. So I'm gonna write down. Isabella said she started with a big snack. We'll do the times later. Big snack. Then the show, she said she ate at 4:30. Then the show is done probably around 10-ish. 10-ish. So it looks like there's 3 opportunities. All right, cool. So everyone that's listening and watching right now, this is actually what you could do with me on the app. We can talk about your schedule and see how best it'll work with your performance or rehearsal or work or whatever. All right, Isabella, thanks for not having your computer die in the middle of this interview. I appreciate that. All right, when was the big snack? What time was it at?
The big snack happens right after the first show. That
4:30.
4:30.
Oh, so I was,
the big snack is not the meal, right? Oh, sorry. The big snack is before the show. Sorry. Right. Before the show, I think because I don't like eating right when I wake up. I don't know. I'm just like that. So I would say the big snack starts at noon.
All right, noon. And what's in the big snack?
The big snack is probably like fruit smoothie. I love my ginger shot, and there is food coming along. It depends. It's kind of like maybe like a protein bar or rice cakes, like anything. There's a lot of snacks. It's not just one snack.
All right, so it's a snacking party.
Yeah,
a snack party. All right,
yeah.
So that's at 12. 4:30. What would you have for your meal?
I've been really bad at meal prepping, but basically my go-to is probably a bento box at our there's a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
So there will probably be like rice, some salmon, like cooked salmon, a salad, and some miso soup.
Okay, cool. And then that was it? You wouldn't eat after the show, the second show?
Sometimes I don't, but sometimes if I'm really, really, really hungry, I have a frozen pizza.
Okay, frozen pizza. No judgment here. No judgment. No judgment. Maybe. All right, so that's a maybe. All right, so let's put this up. All right, you can see it, right? I don't love the way that's. Can I? Let's see if I can do this. Let's see what that looks like. Show it. That's about the same. All right. So fruit smooth in the smoothie or the protein bar, rice cakes. So would it be like all of this, or would you pick and choose from your snack?
So honestly, it's like probably always 3 out of 4.
All right, 3 out of 4. Perfect. We can work with that.
Yeah.
Would your 3 out of 4, would one of the 3 things either be like the protein in the smoothie or the protein bar? Okay, good. So yeah, everyone out there listening, you probably hear it over and over again, but it's the truth that we oftentimes are always over consuming our carbs and fats, and we're way behind on the protein. So if you're to have 3 out of 4, I'm going to guess 100, 200, 250. You're probably going to be around like 400-ish calories there. We're talking about, and everyone listening, I'm talking calories because of energy output. I'm not talking about like counting calories for weight loss or whatever. I'm just talking about functionality. I love the rice, salmon, salad, miso soup. You probably were craving that, really needing it after the first show, right?
Yeah. No, honestly, after the first show ends, that's all I think about food. Some people like lounge around in the dressing room and they're like, what should I eat?
Yeah.
No, I know when we do our final bow, what I'm going to eat that day.
Yeah. So depending on the serving size of the rice and the salmon, you're probably going to be, again, around like 400 to 600 calories. So you're approaching like 1,000 or more calories for the day so far. So
and then the pizza ruins it.
So no, the after, what I was going to say is the after show meal is essential. If you're going to do it this way, we need to definitely eat after. And if we could repeat something more similar to the lunchtime vibe, obviously that would be better just for fuel's sake. Or even like the snacking at the end of the day with a protein base. All right, so I'm gonna email you after. We're gonna sort this out.
Yeah,
we gotta make sure your energy levels and performance is tip top. Cool. Thanks for chatting that through. I think people listening will find that insightful because it is tough with 2 shows to, kind of manage your day. When do you get up? That's another question. What time do you wake up?
I normally sleep around anywhere from midnight to 1 a.m. and then I wake up anywhere from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Okay. And then what time do you have to be at the theater for a first show?
So we would have to be there at, I like to go half an hour before warm up. So at noon. So I have to leave my place at 11:30.
Got it. Okay. And we don't like to eat right when you get up. So there lies the problem.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't go to bed until 12 or 1, that leaves you could eat at 10, 10:30, which then gives you an hour, 2 hours, even more than 2 hours to digest before going to bed. So,
yeah.
All right. So we'll go with the after the show thing. I'll email you after. All right. Everyone that listened to that and loved it, amazing. Everyone that wants to hear more theater things, amazing. Here it is. You were recently on for the Queen. How prepared did you feel? Were you excited? Tell me about it. This just happened. This happened like what, a week or 2 ago?
It happened 2 weeks ago, and then I'm on as the Queen again this week because our Queen is off on holiday. So it's been really great. I've been getting lots of practice. But what was amazing was we actually had our first cover run for the whole show. So all of the understudies were going on just as a rehearsal, start to finish.
Yeah.
Wednesday during the day. And then we found out that Jackie was poorly. So then I just went on at night. So I basically had a go at it before the actual show. So I was really prepared.
Yeah. And It went well. Yes.
Yeah, it went well. It was just an amazing experience. I've never had it because obviously the ensemble people are staring at you, but when you're have your own lines and you're singing, you could just feel everyone's faces looking at you, and it was just so. I don't know. People might say intimidating, but I loved it.
Hey, that's a good quality to have in this type of career. You don't want to shy away from it. That's for sure. Did you have family that came to see it?
So my dad, he came during opening night, but he actually lives in Malaysia, so he flew like a 22-hour journey just to watch my opening night. So hopefully
Right.
he'll come again to watch the Queen, but probably next year.
I wanted to ask because I felt like when we had the photo shoot, I remember you saying that story. So that's pretty crazy, 22 hours. But I'm sure he was beaming. Yeah, he was on cloud nine.
So proud. He did not know anything about Frozen, not even the song "Let It Go," and he was.
Wow, he's a rare bird out there. Not even to know the song "Let It Go." Some parents out there would say, "Oh, he's so lucky." I definitely enjoyed watching the dads in the audience that I thought, they're just there for their kids or whatever. But then the songs would start and they start bopping their heads, and singing along and all that. Yeah, hilarious. Let's rewind to your background because I remember it was very like all over the place, even like where you've lived and you've come. Yeah.
My accent as well.
Yeah, run us through all of it. Tell us
Okay.
You're a unicorn. Tell us about being a unicorn.
My full story. So my dad is Austrian. My mom was Filipino. And so I'm half Austrian, half Filipino, born in the Philippines. And when I was 4, we moved to Abuja, Nigeria, and we lived there for 7 years. My dad works for a company in medical engineering, so he builds hospitals around the world in developing countries. So we just followed him. So Nigeria for 7 years, and then when I was 11, I moved to Malaysia for 7 years, and all throughout that schooling, I went to an American international school. So most of my teachers were American, most of my friends were American, hence the accent. And then my mom used to live in New York, and I fell in love with Broadway. That's how I got into musical theater. So my entire dream was NYU. Like, I wanted to live in New York. And my dad completely supported me being an actress, but he's like, let's think about it. You're European. It makes more sense to be in Europe. And I was like, I've never been to London. And he's like, okay, let's go. Let's see if you like it. Basically, what he was trying to say is he doesn't want to pay $240,000 versus 27,000 pounds, which I completely respect because it's so crazy, the difference. And also because European, we get like the European fees, which is less than international fees. So I ended up in the UK. I moved here 2017, and I've been here for the past 5 years.
Amazing. Okay. So did you ever make it to New York? Have you been?
Oh yeah, no. Since my mom used to live there, like my godfather is still there, so we used to go like almost every summer. I did lots of like acting conservatory programs during the summer with NYU actually. So I did Stella Adler School of Acting. I loved it, and also it just made more sense because my whole high school experience was more American based. Everyone from my like grade in high school ended up going to the US for college. So I was kind of like the outlier going to London.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't change that for the world. I love it here, and I probably do not want to leave.
Yeah, I mean, hence my talks with you about, hey, you're going to probably see me again sooner than later. God bless New York, but we got some work to do right now. We got some work to do. Okay, so growing up and your mom having lived in New York and having some influence with you in musical theater, what were like some of the first musicals or first performances that you like ran across that made you fall in love?
So actually, it was my dad. But basically, what happened was my mom would always say every time we were in New York, "Do you want to go to the cinema or do you want to go to the theater?" And I would be like, "Cinema, duh! Like, why would I want to go to the theater?" And I remember we were watching Hairspray in the cinema, like when the movie came out.
Okay.
We didn't watch live theater, and I've been to like New York maybe 3 or 4 times. And then in 2008, when I was 8 years old, my dad came to New York for the first time. He joined us. And he's like, what is this cinema talk? We're not going to the cinema. We're going to the theater. And I'm like, ew.
Right. You could go to the movies in your hometown.
Yeah, I know, but I was a kid. And so he ended up getting amazing box seats for Phantom of the Opera. And that was my very first musical. And then my life changed.
And then your life changed. And you wanted to be what, Christine Day ever since?
Yeah, honestly. Because I came from a more classical background of singing.
Okay.
So the first songs I sang were from Phantom of the Opera because I was hooked.
Got it. Okay, and once you were in New York seeing Phantom, then you returned back home. How do you like keep this going? Were there like schools around, or how did you continue this new passion?
It was hard. So I remember we would spend a lot of time between like New York and the Philippines, and every time when I was living in Nigeria, so that was from the age 4 to 11. Every summer break, spring break, Christmas break, because my mom knew I loved it so much, it was always to get me into singing classes, piano lessons, dance classes, but they would only be for 2 months or like a month.
Okay.
And then I would go back to Nigeria, and it wasn't really accessible. I remember when I was in the 5th grade, I think it was the 5th grade, they just, in our school, they made a music program. There was no music program before that. Accessible to everyone. So it was just more of an access thing that I found really hard. And then when I ended up going back to Malaysia, it was, I don't know, I don't know about your like high school experience, but like Malaysia was so American. It was all like clubs, and I was doing like all these after school like varsity dance and stuff like that. But it wasn't, I was in a ballet class being really like focusing on technique. It was more just fun, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I got you.
So, yeah. I basically had like a staggered training till the age about 18 of picking up every couple of months like some skills, but never like fully fledged. And I basically started only doing my first dance class when I went to college at 18. And so I flew over to London and I did all my auditions, and I thought it was going to be this fun experience, but it was horrible.
Okay, wait. So tell us more. Why was it horrible?
Because I was pretty naive, thinking at 17 years old, someone who doesn't really have experience in singing, dancing, and acting, to just like fly over and get into like the top schools in London when they've been doing it since the age of 3, and then they've been training their like whole like 14 to 18-year-old life for a place here, and I'm just rocking up like, hi.
Okay, so when reality smacks you in the face, if you will, how did you handle that? How did you respond?
So I originally ended up auditioning for 3-year degree courses, and I didn't even know, just again, there was no one in Malaysia that I knew of that did performing arts. So it was so taboo. Like I didn't have any information or anyone who could give me advice. So it was just based off the internet. So I didn't know much, but I realized that they do a 1-year foundation course, which is essentially a boot camp. I personally think it was tougher than the 3-year degree course because it's everything smushed into 1 year to give you those skills for the 3-year degree. So I ended up not getting into any 3-year degree courses and doing a 1-year foundation. And then from that 1-year foundation, I worked so hard because I knew I was falling so behind and I had to catch up on everything. Honestly, back then, I only knew of Phantom of the Opera, Hairspray, and Grease. I'll say that. Those were the 3 musicals I knew. Yeah, and then worked my way up, got into the 3-year degree at Erdan Academy.
let's rewind to the one
Yeah.
year when you said like I worked so hard. What would like a typical day look like where you were like putting in that extra work?
So we would have classes. It was pretty full on Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. But what they also had were evening classes that you could pay for. And some people would do like one extra evening class, but I basically did every evening class. And that was it was additional, but that was from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Got
Uh,
it.
so I was there
It was all day.
all day, yeah.
You get done at 10 p.m., you go to bed, you wake up and do it all over again.
Yeah, do it all over again. It was so hard waking up for ballet.
But it was worth it, yeah?
It was worth it because I got into my dream school the next year for my 3-year degree, which was Erdang Academy in London. And then I ended up signing with like my dream agent who got me this audition for a little show called Frozen. And then next thing you know, I'm in one of the biggest shows in the West End. So I'm ecstatic.
Yeah, congratulations. All of that is super impressive. I think, though, the biggest thing that stands out to me is being based in Malaysia and you saying that, like, doing this wasn't really a thing. So for you to have the courage or the bravery to just be that outlier, if you will, that trailblazer of saying, no one's doing this around me, but I'm still going for it. A little. Do you have any more like stories about that? Where,
Yeah.
like, who did you go to know where to apply for these schools, or like who helped you with this guidance of getting started?
Me.
Okay,
Yeah.
recently you just like started searching and
In my senior year of high school, I fully enrolled in like singing lessons. But again, there was no musical theater singing teachers. So I ended up doing classical lessons. And he knew a couple of musical theater songs. And I'm not going to tell you the songs, but if you knew what I actually sang for my audition, very inappropriate, not my casting, not me.
uh-huh.
But I didn't know anything back then.
Sure.
Um, so I enrolled in that, and then he told me just try to broaden my like horizons with different like courses and stuff like that. But ultimately, what I did was use Google best schools for musical theater in the United Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
And it's really interesting when you're just basing things off of a website because now I kind of know the drama schools here, like what they're known for, what the stereotypes are. But I still remember what I thought of them back then when I didn't know anything and I just based it off their website. It's
Yeah.
very different.
Without naming names, how so?
um so it's one of those things where obviously like there is some places where I was like, oh, they're using like serious words here and like a really cool font and everything seems quite formal. This must be a good school.
Got it.
Or, oh, there's so many fun colors. This must be a really bad school. But then I kind of got them completely mixed up.
Yeah. Like you were saying before about marketing and presentation, and that's a whole
Yeah.
thing. Like it's important. It's important. Yeah. All right. So you're in the show now. What have you learned? You're among some veterans. You're new to the game. What are some lessons you've learned? And then we'll wrap it up from there.
I think the biggest lesson I've learned is it's okay to ask for help. I felt really scared going into this because it's not going from a school environment to a professional environment. And a lot of people know each other. A lot of people have done other shows. So I felt like there was this expectation that I should know it too. And I think the biggest thing I learned is it's okay to not know things. And it's okay to be like, you know what? I don't know what this means. Can you please help me? I don't remember what move this is. What should I do? Or even like with maintaining and like being a human, like a functioning human, I'm like, okay, you were in this show. How did you do to cope with this? Like, I'm barely like coping. Yeah, it's asking for help is not a weakness.
Yeah. Just stamp. If
Yeah.
if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm giving that's it. Close the book. What a way to end this this conversation. Love that. Put that on a poster. Put that on a T-shirt. Love it. Okay, Isabella.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us after your spin class today. We didn't really chat about your spin class, but glad you got back in there after your couple of months of busyness. Congrats again about your success going on for the roles that you understudied. And can't wait to keep in touch. Everyone that's listening, check out the description of this episode. Make sure you give Isabella a follow. You can see her Instagram handle there, and any other information that you want to know about becoming a super fan of Isabella Glanznig. Thank you so much, Isabella.
Thank you. And I hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to see you back in London.
Yeah. All right, bye. Everyone, Isabella Glanznig from the cast of Frozen in the West End. Super talented, super nice. I hope you all will get to know her more and give her a follow on the gram. Again, I'm Joe Roscoe from Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform. Check us out, builtforthestage.com. Until next time, actors or athletes, train like one. Later.